My husband left me and our daughter for his high school sweetheart. 1 year later, he came back begging, but I had the perfect response. I never thought I'd be sharing my story on Reddit, but here I am, hoping to find some support and understanding. I'm Mia, 29F, and 6 months ago, my husband Alex, 31M, left me and our daughter for his high school sweetheart. It's been a whirlwind of emotions, and I'm still trying to make sense of it all. Let me start from the beginning. I met Alex 5 years ago at my best friend Jenna's, 28F, annual summer barbecue. I almost didn't go that day. I had just gotten out of a 2-year relationship with my college boyfriend, Tom, 30M, and wasn't in the mood to socialize. But Jenna insisted, saying I needed to get out of my apartment and stop moping. The moment I saw Alex, something just clicked. He was standing by the grill, beer in hand, telling a story that had everyone around him laughing. Our eyes met, and he flashed me this crooked smile that made my heart skip a beat. Jenna introduced us, and we spent the rest of the evening talking. Alex was different from anyone I'd ever dated. He was spontaneous and full of life, always ready for the next adventure. He worked as a graphic designer and had this passion for his work that was infectious. I was working as a junior account manager at a small marketing firm, feeling stuck and uninspired. Alex made me see the world differently. We exchanged numbers that night, and by the next day, we were texting nonstop. Our first date was at this quirky little art gallery that was showcasing local artists. Alex knew one of the artists and gave me a personal tour, explaining the stories behind each piece. I was captivated by his knowledge and enthusiasm. Things moved quickly after that. Within a month, we were spending every weekend together. Alex introduced me to his world of art and creativity, and I found myself falling hard and fast. Looking back, maybe we moved too fast, but at the time, it felt right. 3 months into our whirlwind romance, I discovered I was pregnant. I was terrified to tell Alex. We had talked about kids in passing, but it was always in the context of someday. I remember pacing my apartment for hours before he came over, trying to figure out how to break the news. To my surprise, Alex was thrilled. He picked me up and spun me around, talking excitedly about nursery themes and baby names. His enthusiasm calmed my fears, and I allowed myself to get excited too. We decided to move in together, finding a cozy 2-bedroom apartment that we could turn into a home. Our daughter, Emily, was born exactly 1 year after Alex and I met. The first few months were tough. Neither of us had much experience with babies, and the sleepless nights and constant demands were a shock to our system. But we managed. Alex was an incredible dad, always ready to change a diaper or rock Emily back to sleep. As Emily grew, so did our little family. Alex's career took off. He landed a big contract with a major tech company, designing their new app interface. I went back to work part-time, balancing my job with taking care of Emily. We fell into a comfortable routine, and life seemed perfect. 2 years after Emily was born, Alex proposed. It wasn't a grand gesture, just a quiet moment at home after we put Emily to bed. He said he couldn't imagine his life without us and wanted to make it official. I said yes without hesitation, feeling like my life was finally falling into place. We got married 6 months later in a small ceremony in Jenna's backyard. It was a beautiful day, surrounded by our closest friends and family. I remember looking at Alex as we said our vows, thinking how lucky I was to have found him. The first year of marriage was blissful. We were the perfect little family, or so I thought. Alex got a promotion at work, which meant longer hours but also a better financial situation for us. I cut back on my work hours even more to spend more time with Emily, which Alex supported. Things started to change about 6 months ago. Alex became distant and spent more time on his phone. He'd come home late from work, claiming he had to finish important projects. At first, I brushed it off as stress from his new position. But as the weeks went by, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. One Friday evening, Alex came home earlier than usual. He sat me down at our kitchen table, the same table where we'd shared countless family dinners, and handed me a stack of papers. My heart sank as I realized they were divorce papers. He told me he was leaving us for his high school girlfriend, Sarah, 31F. I was blindsided. Alex had never mentioned Sarah before. He stammered through an explanation, saying they had reconnected on Facebook a few months ago and had been secretly meeting. Apparently, Sarah was his first love, and they had dated all through high school. They broke up when they went to different colleges, but Alex claimed he'd always regretted how things ended. What hurt the most was how easily Alex seemed to walk away from Emily. He said he didn't want any complications in his new life with Sarah and was willing to give up his parental rights. He called our beautiful daughter a disturbing element. How could he abandon his own child like that? The man sitting across from me was unrecognizable from the loving father I thought I knew. In the weeks that followed, Alex signed over everything to me: the house, his share of our savings, even his car. He said he was starting fresh with Sarah and didn't want any reminders of his old life. It was like he was erasing 5 years of memories, of family, of love. I'm left trying to explain to our 4-year-old why Daddy isn't coming home anymore. Emily keeps asking when he'll be back from his work trip. It breaks my heart every time I have to lie to her. How do you tell a child that her father chose to leave? The past 6 months have been a roller coaster of emotions. Some days, I'm angry at Alex for throwing away our family. Other days, I'm devastated and can't stop crying. But mostly, I'm worried about Emily and how this will affect her in the long run. I've lost friends over this. Some blamed me for not being a good enough wife, while others thought I should have seen the signs. Jenna has been my rock through all of this, but even she doesn't know how to help sometimes. It's isolating, dealing with this pain while also trying to be strong for Emily. I'm doing my best to keep it together. I've thrown myself into work, taking on extra projects to keep my mind occupied. When I'm not working, I'm focused on Emily, trying to maintain some sense of normalcy in her life. We have movie nights, bake cookies together, and I've started teaching her how to garden, anything to keep her smiling. But late at night, when the house is quiet and Emily is asleep, I can't help but replay the last 5 years in my mind. Were there signs I missed? Was I so caught up in our picture-perfect life that I didn't see Alex drifting away? Or was this all a lie from the beginning? I find myself thinking back to the day we met, wondering if any of it was real. Did Alex ever truly love me, or was I just a placeholder until Sarah came back into his life? These thoughts keep me up at night, turning over every memory, every conversation, looking for clues I might have missed. I know I need to move forward, but right now, it feels impossible. How do I rebuild my life when the foundation has been completely shattered? How do I trust again after such a betrayal? And most importantly, how do I ensure Emily grows up happy and healthy despite her father's abandonment? Any advice or words of encouragement would be appreciated. I'm lost and could use some guidance on navigating this new, unwanted chapter of my life. How do I start over at 29 with a broken heart and a child who doesn't understand why her world has been turned upside down? I feel like I'm drowning, and I don't know how to come up for air. Update 1: It's been 3 months since my last post, and I wanted to share an update on my situation. A lot has changed, and while things aren't perfect, I'm slowly finding my footing in this new reality. The biggest change is that I've decided to move out of our family home. Every corner of that house held memories of Alex and our life together, and it was becoming suffocating. I found a smaller, cozier apartment in a family-friendly neighborhood across town. It's a fresh start for Emily and me. The decision to move wasn't easy. I spent weeks agonizing over it, worried about uprooting Emily and leaving behind the only home she's ever known. But as I packed up our belongings, I realized how much of the house was filled with Alex's presence. The walls he had painted, the furniture we had picked out together, even the kitchen where we used to cook Sunday breakfasts as a family, it all felt tainted now. The move itself was emotionally draining. Packing up 5 years of our life together, deciding what to keep and what to let go, was harder than I expected. I found myself crying over the smallest things: a ticket stub from our first concert together, a mug Alex had given me for our first Christmas. In the end, I decided to pack away most of the sentimental items. I'm not ready to get rid of them completely, but I also can't bear to look at them every day. I ended up donating most of Alex's things he left behind. Keeping them felt like holding on to false hope, and I knew I needed to make a clean break if I was ever going to move forward. It was cathartic in a way, watching the moving truck drive off with the last remnants of our life together. Emily has been adjusting well to our new home, which has been a huge relief. I was worried about how she'd handle the change, but she seems to love her new room. I let her pick out the paint color, she chose a bright yellow, and some new decorations, which helped her feel more involved in the process. She's particularly fond of the little reading nook we set up by her window. I've also made some changes in my professional life. I quit my part-time job at the marketing firm and found a full-time position at a larger company. The hours are longer, but the pay is better, and it offers more opportunities for growth. It's challenging juggling full-time work and single parenthood, but I'm managing. My new boss has been understanding about my situation and allows me some flexibility with my hours when needed. One unexpected positive outcome of this whole ordeal is the strengthening of my relationship with my sister, Olivia, 34F. We were never particularly close growing up. She was always the studious, responsible one while I was more free-spirited. But she's been my rock through all of this. She helps with Emily when I need to work late and has been a constant source of emotional support. We've started having weekly sister nights where we watch bad reality TV and just talk. It's been healing in a way I didn't expect. As for Alex, I haven't heard from him directly since he left. All communication goes through our lawyers now. He's been making his child support payments, but that's the extent of his involvement in Emily's life. It still hurts to see how easily he walked away from her. Every time Emily achieves a new milestone, like learning to write her name or riding a bike without training wheels, I feel a pang of anger that Alex is missing it all. Emily still asks about him occasionally. I've been honest with her, in an age-appropriate way, explaining that Daddy lives somewhere else now and won't be coming home. It's heartbreaking to see the confusion and sadness in her eyes, but I know honesty is important. I've been reading books about divorce to her and trying to reassure her that it's not her fault. Some days are harder than others, but overall, she seems to be coping well. I did have one unsettling encounter related to Alex. I ran into his mother, my former mother-in-law, at the grocery store last month. She tried to act as if nothing had changed, asking about Emily and making small talk. When I reminded her that Alex had chosen to leave us, she had the audacity to suggest that I must have done something to drive him away. She said relationships take work from both sides and implied that I hadn't tried hard enough to keep Alex happy. I left the store in tears, but it also reinforced my decision to make a clean break from Alex's family. On a more positive note, I've started to reconnect with old friends I had lost touch with during my marriage. It's been refreshing to rebuild these relationships and remember who I was before I became Alex's wife and Emily's mom. Last weekend, I went out for drinks with some college friends I hadn't seen in years. It felt strange at first, being out without Alex or Emily, but by the end of the night, I found myself laughing and enjoying myself in a way I haven't in months. I won't lie and say everything is perfect. There are still days when the pain and anger overwhelm me. I've had moments of weakness where I've considered reaching out to Alex, just to understand why he did what he did. But I've resisted that urge, knowing it would only set back my healing process. Instead, I'm focusing on building a new life for Emily and me. I'm rediscovering old hobbies and trying new ones. I've joined a single-parent support group, which has been incredibly helpful. Hearing others' stories and sharing my own has been cathartic. It's comforting to know I'm not alone in this struggle. As for dating, I'm nowhere near ready for that. The thought of opening myself up to another potential heartbreak is terrifying. For now, I'm concentrating on healing and being the best mother I can be to Emily. Maybe someday I'll be ready to trust again, but for now, I'm okay with being on my own. Looking back at where I was 3 months ago, I can see progress. The pain isn't as sharp, the future doesn't seem as bleak. I'm taking it one day at a time, celebrating small victories, and learning to trust in my own strength. It's a long road ahead, but for the first time in a long time, I feel hopeful about what the future might hold for Emily and me. Update 2. It's been 6 months since my last update, and I can hardly believe how much has changed. Life has taken some unexpected turns, both good and bad, and I wanted to share them with you all. The biggest news is that Alex reached out to me about 2 months ago. He showed up at my workplace, looking disheveled and desperate. Apparently, things with Sarah didn't work out the way he had hoped. She had left him for another man, and he found himself alone and regretful. Alex begged for a second chance. He said he had made the biggest mistake of his life leaving us and wanted to come back home. He cried, saying he missed Emily and realized what a fool he had been to walk away from his family. He talked about how empty his life felt without us, how he missed the sound of Emily's laughter and our family dinners. I'd be lying if I said a small part of me wasn't tempted. The idea of having our family back together, of Emily having her father in her life again, was momentarily appealing. For a brief moment, I found myself remembering the good times, our first date, the day Emily was born, lazy Sunday mornings with pancakes and cartoons. But then I remembered the pain of his betrayal, the ease with which he had discarded us for his high school fantasy. I thought about all the milestones he had missed in Emily's life, her first day of preschool, the time she learned to ride a bike, the dance recital where she overcame her stage fright. I realized that the Alex I loved, the man I thought I knew, was gone. I told Alex in no uncertain terms that there was no coming back from what he had done. I explained that while I had forgiven him for my own peace of mind, I could never trust him again. I also reminded him that he had signed away his parental rights and that Emily was thriving without him in her life. He didn't take the rejection well. He accused me of being cold-hearted and keeping him from his daughter. He said I was punishing him for a mistake and that I should be more understanding. I had to threaten to call security before he finally left. It was a draining encounter, but it also gave me closure. I realized I had truly moved on and was stronger than I had given myself credit for. On a brighter note, my career has been flourishing. I received a promotion at work, moving up to a senior account manager position. It came with a significant pay raise and more responsibilities. The extra money has allowed me to enroll Emily in a better preschool and start saving for her future. I've even been able to put some money aside for a family vacation, just Emily and me, something I never thought I'd be able to do on my own. Emily continues to amaze me with her resilience. She's made new friends at her new school and is excelling in her activities. She's particularly taken with her dance classes and has been practicing nonstop for her upcoming recital. While she occasionally asks about Alex, these instances are becoming less frequent. I've continued to be honest with her, always emphasizing that she is loved and that the situation is not her fault. I've also started dipping my toes back into the dating pool. Nothing serious yet, just a few casual coffee dates. It's been both exciting and terrifying to open myself up to the possibility of a new relationship. I'm taking things slow and being very cautious about introducing anyone to Emily. My main focus is still on healing and providing a stable environment for my daughter. One unexpected development has been the rekindling of a friendship with an old college classmate, Jake, 30M. We bumped into each other at a local farmer's market and have been meeting up regularly since then. Jake has been a great friend, offering a listening ear and helping out with Emily when needed. He's a pediatric nurse, so he's great with kids and understands the challenges of single parenthood. We've been taking Emily to the park together on weekends, and it's nice to have adult company while she plays. I'm not sure if there's potential for something more, but for now, I'm grateful for his friendship. My relationship with my sister Olivia has continued to grow stronger. We've started a tradition of weekly sister nights, where we watch movies, drink wine, and just enjoy each other's company. Her support has been invaluable throughout this journey. She's even started teaching Emily how to bake, something I never had the patience for. There have been challenges too. I recently found out that Alex has been spreading rumors in our old social circle, painting himself as the victim in our divorce. He's been telling people that I pushed him away and didn't support his career, which couldn't be further from the truth. It's been hurtful to hear these lies, but I've chosen not to engage. The people who truly know me understand the truth, and that's what matters. As I look back on the past year, I'm amazed at how far I've come. The pain of Alex's betrayal has dulled, replaced by a sense of empowerment and hope for the future. I'm no longer defined by my failed marriage but by my strength as a single mother, my success in my career, and the love I have for my daughter. I still have moments of doubt and sadness, but they're becoming less frequent. I'm learning to embrace this new chapter of my life, focusing on personal growth and creating a happy, stable environment for Emily. We're building new traditions and making new memories, just the two of us. To anyone going through a similar situation, know that it does get better. It takes time, and the journey isn't always easy, but you're stronger than you think. Focus on yourself, surround yourself with supportive people, and remember that you deserve happiness and respect. Thank you all for your support throughout this journey. Your kind words and advice have been a source of strength during my darkest moments. Here's to continuing to move forward, one day at a time. Update 3. It's hard to believe it's been a year since my last update. Time has flown by, and I wanted to share some final thoughts on this chapter of my life. The most significant change has been in my perspective. I no longer view Alex's betrayal as something that happened to me, but as an event that propelled me towards a better life. It's been a challenging journey, but I've emerged stronger, more confident, and happier than I've been in years. Emily is thriving. She's now in kindergarten and loving every minute of it. She's made new friends and is showing a real talent for art. Her teacher says she has a unique eye for color and composition. We've developed new traditions, just the two of us, like our Saturday morning pancake breakfasts and Sunday afternoon park visits. Last month, we took our first real vacation together, a week at the beach. Watching Emily build sandcastles and chase waves, I realized that we're going to be okay, just the two of us. While she occasionally mentions Alex, it's become clear that she's adjusted well to our new normal. She still has the occasional question about why her dad isn't around, but these conversations have become easier over time. I've made sure to surround her with positive male role models, like my brother-in-law and some of my close friends, to ensure she has a balanced perspective. My career continues to flourish. I've taken on more responsibilities at work and have even started mentoring junior employees. The financial stability has allowed me to start planning for the future, including saving for Emily's education and our own home. I'm looking at houses in a neighborhood with great schools, something that seemed impossible a year ago. As for my personal life, things have taken an unexpected but wonderful turn. Remember Jake, my old college friend? Well, our friendship gradually evolved into something more. We've been dating for 6 months now, and it's been a refreshing experience. Jake is kind, patient, and understands the complexities of dating a single mom. He's great with Emily, but we're taking things slow when it comes to integrating him into her life. For now, he's just mommy's friend, and that's working for all of us. I've also expanded my social circle. I joined a local book club and a running group, which has introduced me to a diverse group of friends. These new connections have added richness to my life that I didn't even realize I was missing. Last week, I ran my first 5K race, something I never thought I'd do. Crossing that finish line felt like a metaphor for how far I've come in my personal journey. Olivia and I are closer than ever. We've started planning an annual sisters trip, just the two of us. It's become something I look forward to all year. Last month, we spent a weekend in wine country, laughing, talking, and reconnecting in a way we never did growing up. As for Alex, I've had minimal contact with him. He occasionally sends emails asking about Emily, which I respond to briefly and professionally. He's made a few attempts to re-establish a relationship with her, but given his previous abandonment, I've insisted on supervised visits only. So far, he hasn't followed through on any of them. It's a complex situation, and I'm doing my best to navigate it in a way that protects Emily's emotional well-being. The most important lesson I've learned through all of this is the value of self-worth. I realize now that I had lost sight of who I was in my marriage to Alex. I had molded myself to fit his life, his dreams, his expectations. This experience, as painful as it was, forced me to rediscover myself. I've taken up painting again, a hobby I gave up when Emily was born. I'm planning to go back to school part-time to get my MBA. I'm dreaming again, and it feels incredible. I've learned to set boundaries, to prioritize my needs and Emily's needs, and to not settle for less than I deserve. I've discovered strength I never knew I had and resilience I never thought possible. To anyone reading this who might be going through something similar, know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. It might not feel like it now, but you will survive this. You will grow from this. And you might just find that on the other side of heartbreak is a life better than you ever imagined. Thank you all for following my journey and for your unwavering support. While this chapter of my life is closing, I'm excited about the new one that's beginning. Here's to new beginnings, self-discovery, and the beautiful unpredictability of life.